Hey everyone, and welcome back to Game 2 of the Grand Finals Code Green Tournament NA. We're watching Vegeta up against Bulma. They've banned out Fenrir and Zhang Kui there for Bulma. Vegeta decided they didn't want to deal with Thor or Naja. Sobek's going to be first pick after banning out that Zhang Kui on the other side. Agni now being put down on the table for Bulma, and the second pick comes out here. But of course, I'm joined today by Squiddish. How you doing, my friend?
I am good, and it looks like they have taken my advice as Bulma banned out the Fenrir there, stopping the rampage that was the Fenrir apocalypse that has gone down so far. And it looks like they're changing up their strategy a little bit, as they had previously been first pick Athena. Now that Sobek is no longer being banned out, they jumped over to him immediately, picking him up first pick. So I guess we're going to see which is worse, letting them have Fenrir or letting them have Sobek.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, they have plenty of junglers available, and Fenrir's not even the top pick anymore. We haven't really seen Fenrir banned in so very long. Most of the top junglers would even, look at Thor and Naja before that. But of course, I think they really understand that fact. It seems like Vegeta knows that they're not really that great at the jungling aspect, so they want to limit their enemy jungler and kind of pick the player instead of that. Tier's going to be locked in after Zeus. God, this team is they're just a team after my own heart. Naja and Thor gone, Fenrir off the table, Tier on the table. They're going to go for Odin, which certainly could be a jungler, but they also could go for a Hebo jungle.
Bro, when is the last time you saw Odin picked up? Like, it has been a long time. I am very interested to see if he will make it in here. Come back to the former glory. I mean, once upon a time, just as surely as you wanted Sobek for your tank and Agni for your mid lane, you wanted Odin for your solo, and then they're not even going to do it. They're not even going to take the Odin. Why? But they do have Hebo. They do have Hebo, which is something we haven't seen in a while. So I'm guessing the Hebo is probably going to jungle based on the Agni Hebo Poseidon. I mean, he has to jungle. And then by the Poseidon's probably going to solo and Agni mid is my guess. They're going to pick up the Zeus again. They might be trying to do the same thing they did before. That Zeus Justice they just laid down with possibly a Bastet, which I'm calling troll pick on right now. They're not doing Bastet. But the Zeus is going to be locked on. They're going to try and bring him back in to his former glory there. Maybe they will Bastet. Maybe they actually will Bastet.
Well, tier solo, Bastet jungle, Zeus mid, Neith, Sobek long. It definitely could work, and then they have a lot of aggressiveness to boot along with the Neith ultimate, which is exactly what you have the Neith for. It's just those constant ganks, which a Bastet jungle, tier solo, Zeus mid ganks is exactly what you're looking for. Opposite the map, you're going to see are there for Team Bulma, Agni, Poseidon, Odin, Apollo, and Hebo. Hebo is going to be in the jungle role. Apollo laning up with, it looks like Odin. Poseidon soloing the mid lane, I would hope, and then Agni in the solo lane. I think Poseidon would be better off in the mid lane than Agni, but also could go either way. A very strange pickup, a very high magic burst pickup for them, and I think with the aggressive lineup that Vegeta has, they're going to be able to pick off Agni, Poseidon, and Hebo quite consistently.
Indeed. I really think it would actually be better to set up Agni against the Zeus, because, I mean, granted, he didn't do that great last game. It didn't turn out terribly well for him. But, I mean, realistically, Agni-Zeus is a very solid matchup in favor of Agni, just because of all the mobility he brings over. And if you throw someone like Poseidon in there, who has the same downside, he just doesn't have any sort of mobility at all. I mean, he's got no real advantage over the Zeus. He's got the burst of the Kraken, which, I mean, if he's lucky, he might be able to bring to the table. But Zeus has got the burst of being Zeus and pressing 3. So, I mean, realistically, Agni can dash out of ultimates, he can dash out of danger, he can dash away whenever Zeus is getting the upper hand, whereas Poseidon just kind of drops to his knees and begs him not to murder him.
It's exactly the words you wanted to use. That exemplifies it quite well. But you can see a 120-second timer on the top of the screen. We'll cut to a brief timer, guys. We'll be back in just 2 minutes here while we get this game all set up for you. So thank you for tuning in. This is going to be Game 2 of the Grand Finals, Code Green Tournament NA number a million. But of course, we're here. Vegeta up against Bulma. Stick around. We'll be back in about 2 minutes to see the end of the second game of this series, best of 3. If Bulma wins here, they'll be going to Game 3. If not, Vegeta will win this series in a 2-0 fashion. And we'll be back in just about 2 minutes or so. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Game 2 of the Grand Finals. We're watching Vegeta up against Bulma. Vegeta is up Game 1. It's 1-0 now. Vegeta is leading this series. It's a best-of-3 series between these two teams. Bulma is now faced with the task of winning this match to push it to Game 3. And, of course, Vegeta is just on the binge of just finishing this off in a 2-0 victory, and they want to do that. Vegeta is going to be the bottom side of your map. They're facing off here. Sobek's kind of leading the charge here. Scoping the map on the left side. It looks like the right side is going to be conquered by Vegeta as well. Hebo kind of hanging out here. Hebo's going to be the jungler. Let's go and cover who's playing what and where they're going. Undertoker is going to be on Zeus in the middle lane for Vegeta. The blue team fire first on Sobek laning with his lane partner Agirisgar on Neath. We have Running Tree on Bastet in the jungle, and then Killers on Tier in the side lane. Solo opposite of the map, you have Bulma, the red team, Wakazor on Odin. Looks like he will be taking that solo role. Almanac on Poseidon. Looks like he might be going the mid lane. DeFox 1-2-3 on Ogden, going to be taking that solo lane role. And then Logo File on Apollo lane with his lane mate, the Odin. And of course, the Dandy Slamma on Hebo in the jungle.
It looks like they are kind of going for early invade here. Bulma looking to see if they could possibly pick up any freebies here. Swinging around by speed, but Vegeta was there. Lucky for them. Sobek Dash barely missing, but Hebo in a lot of trouble. Taking so much damage, getting juggled by Tier. I can't even say all the things that are happening to him before he died. He died like halfway through my rampage there. And then the detonate from Zeus onto Apollo. If Sobek's charge break comes off cooldown pretty shortly, it's not going to be soon enough. They're not going to be able to finish him up there. But they dropped him very, very low. Everyone's like, you know what? Screw mid camps. Let's just murder each other.
They're going to go ahead and take out the side camp. Hand of the Gods comes out there. They probably will be able to get the left side camp as well. Overall, they're going to get an 800 gold lead from that, as well as 975 experience. Vegeta doing the exact same thing they did before and just taking an early lead in the beginning. I'm going to go for a dash and take a double detonate as a punishment for it. Going to clear this wave out, though, quite effectively in the middle lane, but doing it quite aggressively. Hebo going to the left side can help Odin clear out this blue buff and possibly give it to himself, or maybe even the Apollo. Neath and Apollo exchanging blows here. But at this point, again, we're going to see Vegeta pick up Tier or 3 Hand of the Gods, possibly for stuns or just for lots of pushing.
Well, this is something they've been doing the whole game, and usually, so far, whenever they had Fenrir always converted his to a fist. So I'm fully expecting Bastet, who doesn't have any sort of hard CC, to convert hers into a fist as well, just because that's the only thing she's really going to have for control. And now we see Agni doing a lot better against Zeus this time, out pushing him like he should be. Making sure he's got Zeus forced back onto his tower, and Zeus is pretty low on HP. So this is more kind of what we expect to see from an Agni-Zeus matchup. Meanwhile, in left lane, Apollo taking a lot of hits in the face.
Almost getting hit by a dash there from the Sobek, stopping a little bit short. Odin goes for the Hand of the Gods. There's an unravel. Looks like Sobek taking a lot of harassment, but so is the Apollo. There's a sickening strike. A few shots will be able to finish with the Apollo. I think Neath should just go for the Apollo at this point. Odin might be able to pick off the Sobek if they can get the damage off in time. The slow does not land. Neath has the opportunity for a double kill if she goes for it, but again, a little bit passive. There's a Spirit Arrow finishing him off for second blood. Of course, we saw Hebo die in the beginning, finishing him off there. Sobek might go for a charge prey, but Neath is nowhere near. I'm not exactly sure where Neath was going at that point. Looks like he wanted to head back, but the charge spray came out just afterward. Looks like they're not going to be able to pick this kill up. Right side lane, we see Tier pushing the Poseidon back to his tower, and it looks like Killer is just very, very comfortable in the solo lane.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't matter what gods you give him. He's always doing fine, but it looks like we're going to see how he can do against the gank here. As Hebo is going to show up, there is the water spout, and as he just used his charge, he does not have it available to run away. He actually uses it to bump Hebo. There's the whirlpool coming down from Poseidon, but realistically, they're not going to do really any damage to Tier. Tier is just totally fine here. Like you said, he's completely comfortable. He just doesn't care. Comes in for a gank, he's just like, oh, what's up, buddy? Shoulder tackle. Now I'm going to walk casually home. Do something.
We've seen him play Zhang Kuei in the solo lane quite effectively. We've seen Tier, we've seen, I believe we saw Chung last game as well. It seems like he's very, very comfortable in that role, especially with characters that have natural tankiness, natural heals, natural escapes. Very difficult characters to get shut down with. Odin's going to jump here in the blue buff, trying to pick off the Sobek. There's a good route from the Neath, actually hitting both the players. First the Odin, then the Apollo. Apollo going to get this kill on the Sobek most likely, unless he can wiggle like a genius, but not able to get it in time. Odin does have an ultimate available. He's literally level 5. A few more base guys. There's the Unravel. There's the Odin ultimate. Does he have mana to jump? But he does. Does Neath have any mana? No! Odin's going to get away with a sliver of HP due to the spears. Apollo's going to probably go up to the... I don't know what Apollo's... I think Apollo DC'd, because he is currently ADDing this wall right now.
He hates this fountain with a flaming passion I've never seen. I mean, this man hates fountains so badly right now.
There goes the DC.
Yeah, pretty sure, and there goes the pack. So, yep, he is definitely DC'd there. Very unfortunate. We'll see if a pause. There it is. There comes the pause. So it looks like we are going to have a pause right there. So let's look at what we've got set up for items so far. Everything Actually, there's really nothing to talk about in items. Everyone's going for like the most vanilla builds in the universe. Starting item boots on all 5 members of Team Bulma, starting item boots on 3 members of Vegeta, and then Tyr starting out with Mark of the Vanguard, just because Tyr's push kind of requires him to be up in people's faces. He's got to get up, he's got to use his Fearless, his 1, his charge, to juggle the minion wave together so he can slice them with his 2. So he kind of needs to be a bit more exposed. He needs to be able to take some minion hits and a little bit of harassment. So a good start for him. And then Sobek playing around with the Watcher's Gift, which we've seen be kind of hit or miss ever since it was released, really. And here is the unpumps.
Towel Surge coming out there, harassing the Tyr. Here comes the Hebo. Not level 5 yet. Poseidon is. There's Poseidon ultimate with a bunch of damage, and the water cannon from Hebo will finish him off there. Tyr survived the early gank, but wasn't enough to avoid the Poseidon ultimate. Hebo really was only there for the last hit, but definitely a great pickup for them. That's going to be 2 kills thus far for Bulma, now putting themselves on the scoreboard. We see a 300, actually 200 gold difference now for Vegeta and Bulma. They're almost tied up. It's very, very negligible at this point. There's a Hand of the Gods from the Odo's going to jump away, doesn't want to get caught. Charge Break comes out from Sobek in the left lane, but not going to grab anyone there. Sobek going to get harassed out. Sobek has yet to hit level 5 at this point.
Yeah, he is pretty underfed right now, probably because he's been brutally murdered once already while trying to help out in that little scuffle in the jungle. So he's kind of stuck a little bit below, but realistically, if there's a god who is not going to be terribly inhibited by not having his ultimate, it's Sobek. I mean, his ult is great. It really helps him regenerate mana. It can do some good zoning, but it's not a super game changer like a lot of these other ultimates, and it's not brutally important. As we see now, Neith trying very hard to finish off this Odin, but a Serenade from Apollo is pretty much going to end any dreams of that happening. She wants it so bad. He's so low. Sobek now looks like he might be coming up from behind. He's coming up behind Apollo here, going to land the Sickening Strike, actually, rather than any sort of disruption to stop him from getting away there, and they're just going to all disengage.
Yeah, it looks like he was trying to line up a charge prey, but didn't really have, you know, any aggressive attachment to it. Just wanted to see if it was there. If it wasn't, let it go type thing. Obviously, throwing Apollo into the tower was an objective of his, but not able to do it there. There goes a blue buff, going to hand it to the Odin. Odin's going to head back into the lane. We actually do see a support Odin this game, which seems to be working quite well with the Apollo. They do have a lot of damage output starting up. Surprisingly enough, we're going to see Sobek go for tier 2 Hand of the Gods before buying any kind of item after Watcher's Gift. A strange pickup. I mean, Hand of the Gods does the same damage whether it's tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. The main difference being whether you can finish off objectives at a percentage of HP or just doing that static amount. So strange that he picked it up this early. It really won't benefit him at all since there's going to be no gold free unless there's something that they're going to do they don't know about. There's the ultimate come out from the Sobek right into the Odin, and Neith ultimate going to hit him right into the wall. Apollo's going to dash away, and that's going to be about all she wrote there. But a free kill on the Odin with great placement. Right lane looks like we might have an engagement here.
It looks like Hebo came around, tried to gank the Tyr, but missed the water spout, and then just kind of left. And Tyr is not content to let this old man just walk away, doing half his damage with a fabled 1-2 combo of Tyr Justice. The ultimate tickles gently, and there is the Kraken, which does a lot more than that, and suddenly Tyr has bit off a lot more than he can chew. Water spout misses. He's going to Judgment away with the Justice jump, but is it going to be enough? He's juggling him. Is he going to finish off the Hebo? Hebo's alive, but what is he just juking so hard? He does not want to let this go down, but Poseidon's up in his business. He's got nothing. Hebo's so low. Tyr is so low. He misses the auto attack. Is he going to get away with this? There is no way, but Hebo lays down the super slow motion river. If Tyr can turn around and use one ability here, he can kill. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to shoulder tackle through. Kill Hebo. Bastet jumps in. Oh, at the edge of the Trident AoE. Takes him down, but Poseidon will die for his crimes as Neith rotates around as well. Holy crap, I cannot believe what I'm just seeing here. The one little edge of the triple auto attack sliding through and finishing off the Tyr who looked like he was home free.
Oh my god, I'm speechless. That was so close. He dodged so many basic attacks. He even dropped down to like 7 HP at one point. He was so very low, and he just decides, I'm going to get this Hebo. So the Hebo was following suit, barely missing that last basic attack, and the charge came out from Tyr, going through the Poseidon and hitting the shoulder right into the old man face and taking him out. Not only that, did he lead the charge, but he also allowed a gank opportunity for Bastet and Zeus in the middle lane. So he traded himself for a double kill after a very, very close call, and he's not done. He just goes right back into the right lane and starts bullying the Poseidon back into his tower. Tyr is just such a man, and it brings one very manly tear to my eye.
That if there was ever something you deserved, now you're a man. It was them Tyr plays right there. Tyr, absolutely. Now he's just juggling Poseidon relentlessly as the Neath ultimate comes out to end his life. He just jumps in place. This little. Who did the Neath ultimate hit? It hit Agni? Where did that? It just kind of disappeared into the wilderness. I'm guessing it probably hit Agni in the mid lane, because that's the only person who was in the way it could possibly have hit there. I thought that was a pretty guaranteed Poseidon kill, but apparently Neath's ultimate had other ideas. Apollo diving in here, may be able to finish off the Zeus. Zeus dropping his ultimate to force Apollo away, and here's Bastet, and Apollo is just going to ult to freedom. He might dunk down the Zeus. No, it doesn't look like he's going to. He's going to go help out in the right lane, but this Tyr is totally dead before he even showed up. Nothing he could really do against the combined watery might of Poseidon and Hebo. Justice does not like to get wet, apparently.
It does not, but you need lots of water to do it. So Tyr's going to fall there in the right side lane. Vegeta is now 6-5 versus Bulma at the 9-minute 15-second mark. No dash available for the Agni here in the middle lane. Sobek uses his ultimate. There's an unravel from the Neath. They have enough to get it. Bastet jumps in. Neath backflips away the trap on the Bastet. She can jump back as well, just barely escaping. There's the dunk from the Odin. The dash in from the Apollo is going to be enough. The So Beautiful not in range. The tail whip pushes him closer. Chain lightning would be perfect, and there it goes. Look at the triple detonate coming on both of those, finishing off the Apollo. Now dashing after the Odin, who wants the Neath so very bad, but the Sobek comes out and interferes, not able to get in time. Hebo wants it. There's the water cannon, not going to land. The detonate comes out, and the spear arrow to the face. A 3-0 exchange for Vegeta in the middle lane. Tyr comes over, but it's not necessary as they just completely conquer the middle lane as we cross over to the 10-minute mark, and the Fire Giant stands up as if to say, I'm proud of you.
Is there the opposite to Pon Pon luck? Do we have that? Because I feel like if there was like a most misfortunate god in this game, Hebo has taken the cake. After that Tyr 180 shoulder tackle to the face
tender.
earlier. I just...
He's a chicken tender.
He's a chicken tender. I just want to highlight, they're in the jungle as Odin had 2 charges on him. Zeus goes to fire the chain lightning. Odin jukes, and Hebo comes around the corner right into it, bouncing it between him and Odin, ensuring Odin and his own death there. He had no idea. He would just come around to help Odin and just turn the corner directly into a chain lightning in the mouth after Odin's had such a beautiful juke there. Hebo is just the wrong place, wrong time champion of this entire match.
He's just having such a hard time right now, 1-3-2, and I think they realize that they have a great jungler. We've seen the Danny Slamma play Fenrir to huge effect, but as you push him deeper into the charts, you can see he doesn't really have much besides the Fenrir. There's a kill there on the Poseidon. Neath ultimate comes out, but not necessary. Tyr just completely conquering them. Crushing Wave comes out. Tyr eats it like a man, goes right after this distant damage. There's a cat, and the cats are going to secure this kill. They walk away from it as the cats rip apart what's left of his flesh after being thrown into a river, and they just walk away and let him die. Apollo's going to come down and defend this right side lane, trying to dunk on the Bastet, but of course Bastet is already gone. And level 9, Apollo needs to be careful up against this level 12 Tyr.
Yeah, and he knows this. He moves through right to his tower because he does not want to... Oh, he tried. Tyr tried to pick him up, but just didn't quite have it there. I mean, seriously, this Hebo is the embodiment of bad luck, Brian. Just everything in the world is happening to this Hebo today. And he's not necessarily really doing anything wrong. He's just getting the worst luck. And they're trying so hard to take this Tyr down here. There's the Kraken, but just not going to land it very... Just not a center hit on Tyr, who's then going to just kind of back in his tower. And granted, they're going to do a lot of damage to his tower while he's gone, but they're also going to do a lot of damage to this Agni, who, sprints away at the last second. I thought he was going to risk it, and I thought that was going to be a very bad situation for him, but he chooses to dash away at the last instant and just go before he even has an opportunity. And Neath now flanking around onto the Apollo. Apollo's like, oh crap, this is bad. The Tyr Jungle of Justice, you did. Neath doing a ton of damage. Wow, that Spirit Arrow hurt. That Spirit Arrow did so much hurt. That was like a third of his HP. I don't even know. I guess he's only level 10 and he's a little babby, but Neath is just destroying planets right now.
A lot of damage opportunity from Vegeta. They do get the right side tower for Bulma, but how much is that going to matter when their tower does fall in return? 2,000 gold up right now. It's going to turn about 3,000 even. Once they do finish off this tower, Sobek just tanking it like a beast. A few shots from Neath as well as the tier will be able to finish this tower off. And there we go. There goes the final count. You see 3,000 gold up now, 4,000 experience as well. Zeus fighting Agni in the middle lane. Hebo might get caught out yet again. 1 hit, 2 hit from the Zeus. A 3rd hit going to count. There's the detonate. Not able to hit the stun though as he dashes away just in time. Hebo in the jungle facing off against the Sobek, trying to finish him off, but runs directly into Neath and Tier, and he's just completely caught here. There is the charge from the Tier to finish him off there. Tidal Surge comes out from the Poseidon as he blinks away. The cats are now following. Do they get the slow off in time? They do. The cats, all 4 cats, there's the Pounce body blocking him away and finishing him off in the jungle after Hebo loses his life. Vegeta is just out for blood right now.
Vegeta, the wife-beating champion of Earth, just destroying Bulma once again here. And I mean, it's just bad situation after bad situation. People are just getting caught out. It's just lucky rotations. I mean, realistically, Vegeta doesn't have much jungle vision at all. Like, none. Apollo getting torn down in the mid lane there. I mean, all the vision is pretty much Bulma's, especially on the right side. They just happen to be walking into people. It's just that they pick the wrong turns at every fork and end up getting destroyed in these, what turn into 1v3 situations very quickly. And this is what Vegeta's been doing all tournament, though, is just doing a good job of sticking together. So if they do run into someone, they're running into like a 5v1. Oh, and there's initiation here. The Kraken not going to land on Bastet, but the Afterburn actually going to finish her off as Tyr is just fighting, just man fighting here. The Dunk of Justice, and then just beating Poseidon to death with his large sword of manliness. He's going to try to dive the tower. He's going to dive all the way through the tower and come out the other side. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't care about anything. Agni trying to drop a meteor, but not able to predict where they were going to juke to. It's going to miss.
Hebo is going to try to make something out of this. You see Tier low HP, no mana left. Hebo still hesitant after what's happened to him thus far. The water spout comes out. You see Tier kind of back here. Neith's going to go down into ultimate. Looks like he's going to back off there. The ultimate in the middle lane will allow Zeus probably to finish this off with a detonate. And there it goes. And one more hit will finish him off there. Now we have the Tier dropping lower and lower. The Neith dropping huge damage chunks off of the Hebo. There's the chain lightning and one more detonate. Actually, one more hit. There's that triple detonate. There it is, finishing him off. A triple kill for Zeus. He gets a kill in the middle lane with a Neith ultimate, then goes in for a chain lightning and finish off both Hebo and Apollo at the same time for a free triple. Zeus is now level 17, and we said it in the last game, Squiddish, don't feed Zeus.
Don't feed Zeus. It does not end well for you. He is massive again, and his damage is going to be apocalyptic here very shortly as they're going to pick up the Gold Fury, catapulting their gold lead to 6,500. So now Vegeta's got a very large and comfortable lead. Poseidon just sticking his nose someplace he probably shouldn't. Combat blinking into Tyr, who carries him right back into the entire team. Oh my god. Poseidon, you tried. Odin's going to ult and jump away here, and Tyr only has his other Fearless. He's going to try and predict where Odin's going, but Odin jukes in her direction. Hebo splashes him once and turns around to run for his life because Hebo doesn't want to play this game anymore. Hebo's tired of this crap. He is so tired of these shenanigans. He's just going to pull back, and then they're just going to regroup. Agni kind of caught out, though. But no one's really in a position to go in on him right now, as Zeus is just laying some damage on this tower. The chain lightning doesn't even bounce to him. It's like the chain lightning feels sorry for Bulma right now, just going through minions. Tyr trying to come into the back, picks up an Apollo, juggles him out to the edge of the tower. He uses the moves across the perimeter of the tower. Hebo ulting into please kill me land. They oblige. He is dead. Then again, a 2 for O. After that entire pile of shenanigans, that was a 3 or 4 for O trade there.
Incredible engagement. You can see Bulma is definitely on tilt. They're trying to make something happen, but not really with the forethought they need to accomplish the goals they're setting forth for themselves. They're being very hyper aggressive and position themselves in ways where they seem like they have more farm than they do. They just don't have the power. They don't have the oomph behind their actions when they're performing them, to the point where Vegeta can just eat it and walk away. Point in case, we saw Tyr being forced out of the tower, taking lots of tower shots. Hebo dashed forward, and really he was using an ultimate just to get closer to the Tyr so he could water cannon. The second he comes out of his ultimate, Sobek grabs him with the charge prey, throws him up in the air, and Tyr whacks him once with his giant sword and finishing him off. He just doesn't have the HP to survive, nor does he have the damage to pick people off when he gets there. So a very, very tough situation to be in, no doubt, as you see Odin kind of pushing this left side lane. With 3 players from Vegeta pushing this up in the mid lane, 4 players are trying to defend it, but with Zeus throwing out, look at all that damage he's throwing out. There's a double hit there on the Neith. Spirit are going to come out. Is the detonate going to be enough is the question. Is it going to come off? Cooldown in time is the question. It will not. Apollo dashing dashing away. There's a slow. There's a chain lightning. A single hit from Neith and Zeus will finish him off there in the jungle. Hebo heading back. Agni actually teleports back to the mid lane because he knows he has no time to waste. 4 players will meet them in the jungle. There goes the charge to get the chain lightning in time. It looks like it won't be needed as the dash from the tier will be enough. The detonate is enough. A 1 charge detonate finishes off Hebo inside of tower range. Here comes the tower shooting down the damage. Poseidon ultimate comes out. The Bastet escapes with so little HP. She's sitting at none right now. Just a sliver. Eats the Poseidon ultimate and the tower dive continues.
And Zeus just kind of suicided right there. Very low health. He dodged Agni's path of flames and then walked back over it trying to get to Agni, who just ate the CC from Neith's ultimate with his charge there, and they're actually going to be able to tear Tier down. Now suddenly the tables have turned. Bulma's in a good position right here. Apollo ulting on the Sobek rather than the Neith, and it's going to allow her to get away pretty easily because Sobek is going to be able to just zone this now and pull them back. But that is going to be a 2-for-0 trade in favor of Team Bulma as Zeus just commits seppuku by Agni Fire, and Tyr gets caught out and finally torn down in the jungle.
Very, very, very close call there. I mean, when it's all said and done, 24-8, you'd expect a little bit more than 5,700 gold difference. And the main reason for that being is going to be the objectives that follow up. Vegeta is getting pure 5,700 gold lead from kills. Kills and partially towers, 2 towers down right now, but of course, surprisingly enough, we see Vegeta falling behind in the tower situation, 3 towers down in favor of Bulma and 2 towers down in favor of Vegeta. So Vegeta's behind in towers and up in gold just because of the kills, and Vegeta's even, I feel like they don't even care about the game, you know, they just want to kill Bulma as many times as they can.
It almost looks like it. They're just going for the brutal murder. You see every engagement. Tyr is just behind them, waiting for an opportunity to juggle someone into the waiting arms of justice. That is the rest of his team, just waiting to carry someone away and just ruin their day. And they're really making no serious effort to push down the towers. They're kind of just juggling around in the jungle. I mean, they tried there in the mid a little bit, but I mean, even when they were in tower range, even under tower, nobody was interested in tower. They were just trying to get a couple kills. They probably could have burned down that mid tower if they all would have just focused it down when they were there a second ago. But we'll see now if they try to regroup after Bulma kind of just slapping them with their own confidence and picking up 2 of the beefiest members of the team. And we'll see if they just decide to try and push through and take any of these objectives or towers.
Already getting a stun there on the tier in the middle lane. The shell, the passive from the runic shield gets popped up there, defending him from the damage output. We see Poseidon cover the backside. This could be a 4-man gank here. There isn't a whole lot. Bastet's behind, and as well as the Odin. There's a whirlpool on the ground. Zeus pops the Aegis shield. There's the dash in from the Neith, or from the Bastet. The Neith ultimate comes out on the Hebo. Jump in from the tier, judging for the tower. There's a stun coming out from the Audi. Poseidon ultimate comes out, hitting just the tier, who just eats it like a man. Slow comes out from the Odin, getting closer and closer. He wants his kill so very bad. There's a stun from the Bastet, dashing in the Odin. Odin dropping lower and lower. He is slowed by the creeping curse, gets picked off right away. We see Tyr still holding down the entire team with his muscles. He forces the jungle. There's the detonate from ultimate comes out from the Zeus, doing lots of damage to the Audi. One more hit, and there's the chain lightning. The chain lightning will get a triple kill there for Zeus in the middle lane. Tyr comes from the backside, but not necessary. Zeus says, back off, man, I got this. There's a deicide come out for Vegeta. The middle tower is exposed. The question is, will they go for Phoenixes or will they go for Fire Giant?
I can't handle this Tyr right now. Odin and Agni are just diving as hard as they can to get Neith. And Tyr is just up in the tower. No! Back! Just holding all 3 other members. Holding Poseidon and Hebo and Apollo back in the tower, just 1v3 man-moding, not caring at all for their shenanigans. He is the manliest man that ever did man. This Tyr right now, I don't even know. I don't even have words for this. But after they take down the middle Phoenix, which is, of course, going to turn on the Fire Minion Death Machine in the mid lane, they look like they are going to rotate around and pick up the Fire Giant, which is a good move on the heels of a deicide here, because it's going to give them a huge buff that allows them to pretty much run more rampant than they're already running for the next few minutes while they have this buff. And it's going to give them crazy regeneration. And after they all take their little break at home after killing the thing, they're probably not going to have to go home again as long as they have the buff.
Tyr heading home there. The Fire Giant is now finished. as you mentioned, Squiddish. So now that is going to be another notch on the belt for Vegeta versus Bulma here. They're almost about to drop a 30 bomb with 30 kills, 29 kills now, 8 kills for Bulma here at the 22, almost 23-minute mark. Sobek seems like he's just hanging out, trying to make friends with the enemy up on their side of the map, not really caring out, finishing off that Greaves as well as the Sovereignty, tier 3 Hand of the Gods to boot. We see Zeus picking up Gem of Isolation, Focus Void Stone, as well as the Breastplate of Valor for lots of good CDR and protections, as well as some penetration and slowing. A very, modest and conservative build there for the Zeus. You see the ultimate from Tyr dropping the Poseidon to half HP as he's forced to combat blink away from the meteor that is a man. A dash comes out from the Audi in the middle lane. There's the slow from the Hebo. Water spout not hitting anyone there. The water cannon is going to slow down the Tyr just a bit. There goes a combo knockout. He uses ultimate to get away, but is it going to be enough? The dash comes out from the Tyr. Looks like Odin loses his life just to the Sobek there. Or actually the opposite of the map towards the 3 players in the jungle. There goes Tyr going after the Apollo. Look at the damage he's doing. Apollo and Hebo barely escaping with a sliver of HP, while Tyr and Sobek siege their base in a 2-man combo. The continuing fight comes forward. There's the damage up on the Agni. Agni taking so much damage. There's the dash forward, and the shoulder of Tyr takes out Agni. Sobek still hanging out in their base, and Tyr is right next to him. And now all of the women plus Zeus will be joining up with him in the middle lane and probably contesting this Minotaur.
I feel like Tyr is now standing on the Phoenix. Just, gentlemen, you will not know pain. You will not know fear. You will follow me into battle. I will lead you with justice. He doesn't want to leave. And he comes down just because the opportunity to beat the crap out of Poseidon. Oh my god. He just dominated Poseidon with 2 other people and the Minotaur all attacking him. Heals up with his 2. Oh, misses the jungle on Apollo. Apollo is very fortunate this day because he is level 12 and Tyr is level 20. Odin wishes to challenge his manliness. Odin will have a man off with him. Odin's okay with this. This is a battle. But Tyr doesn't want that right now. Tyr needs to go home. He needs to go home and rehydrate. After all of the manliness he has put forward, I can't do this anymore. Tyr's ridiculous right now. Oh my god.
Backing off the left side. The right side tower and left side tower will both fall. Tier 2 and Tier 1 respectively. This tower will end up falling. Need to take a lot of damage to boot. Zeus as well as the Bastet going to push this right side going up against the Phoenix. Of course, the mid Phoenix is down. That will be pushing consistently with Fireman streaming forward. Sobek quite low on HP. They might have an opportunity for a kill here. Sitting at about 1/3 HP thus far. There's the Odin ultimate trapping him inside out. Half HP now. Sobek pops into his ult and goes for the slow. Odin taking a lot of damage, surprisingly enough. Hebo's going to go for ultimate here. Does he wait for it? He waits for the damage. Smart play there by the Hebe. He wants to get both of them. Hits one of them on the Sobek. Apollo's up in there. There's the dunk down, pushing the Neath backwards. They're going to finish off the Sobek. Looks like, no, he's so very low. Can they get in time? They will get it. Now going after the Neath, he's going to force me backflip away, but here comes Tyr, who kills Apollo in the back, and now is facing off against Hebo and the Obit. Creeping curse on both of them goes right for the Hebo. There's a single hit from the blue, dashing forward and finishing him off with the Bastet. Odin runs for his dear life as Bastet and Tyr hope to cut him off here in this lane. He's hanging out. He knows they're coming. He jumps over the wall and sees the man. There's the Neath ultimate, keeping him in place, misses that, and there's the dash over, and Bastet's gonna greet him in the jungle. He's no mana left. He's running for his life. Neath is on her way. There's the dash forward with the Bastet, the Razor Claws, and the Cats that finish him off. Hand of the Gods not gonna do anything at that point. The mid Phoenix is respawning, but what more can they do to defend themselves as Zeus goes in unafraid of Team Bulma?
I do not think there's really much they can do at this point. The gold lead is so far, it's so large, the over 9,000 joke's not even relevant. It's just ridiculous. Poseidon almost dies on the way back to the well from Bastet's Razor Claws bleed. I mean, the damage is just mental. Mid Phoenix is down right now. Tyr is completely out of control. Zeus is completely out of control. Bastet's damage is just apocalyptic. I mean, right now, Tyr can comfortably just run into any 1v3 situation, murder somebody, and walk away, or continue killing as he sees fit. I mean, I would say you need to shut down the Tyr, but I'm not even positive that's still possible. So, I don't know what they could really do. It's really Vegeta's game to lose. If they make some sort of huge mistake or some sort of overly greedy play, Bulma can absolutely pile in and turn this around. They have a lot of potential damage in their ultimates. Their team fight could be really strong if they just stack all these high damage ults together. But they really need Vegeta to slip up, because they're not going to be able to really do anything in a 5v5 encounter.
You know, one thing I'd like to point out and probably pick this apart a bit so everyone understands exactly what's happening here before people start crying that Tyr is still overpowered or anything along those lines. You look at Apollo, who's sitting at 0-9 right now, just now finishing off his Executioner at the 28-minute mark, very far behind. In fact, he's not really providing any damage at all for his team. And you look at the enemy team here, they're really relying on Agni, Poseidon, and Hebo to do the majority of their damage, which those are all magic burst characters. But look at Tyr's build. He goes for the Runic Shield into the Borg of Hope. Very high magic protection items, as you see Poseidon getting picked off here in the middle lane. Damage output going to be enough. Whirlpool pulls them together. But again, Tyr has just smartly gone for heavy amounts of magic protection up against a team that is relying heavily on magic burst. And that's why it seems like Tyr is just unkillable right now, as Bastet solos the Hebo there in the jungle in front of the Fire Giant. Apollo trying to split push, but they're going to take this Minotaur in a 3v2 situation. Dashing in is going to be Odin going after the Zeus, who's dropping quite low. There's the lunge, doing a little bit of damage to him. The Odin ultimate is not there. Charge prey into the tackle from the Tyr as Apollo dies in the right lane before he pops his ultimate. Tyr now going after the Odin, doing so much damage right now. There's the Path of Flames and the stun coming out as well. Tail Whip comes out, going after the Odin. It looks like they just don't care anymore. Tyr is actually taking a decent amount of damage at this point. Zeus is off doing his own thing, farming minions, and it looks like they might be able to disengage. No, they're still going after the Odin, who's thrown up onto the pedestal. He's stuck. He's trying to get away. He doesn't want to dash away just yet, but they are in range to do damage. Odin goes through his 3, but will fall to the damage of Tyr as Tyr jumps over the wall, dashes in with the ultimate, not able to get. He dashes in with the Aegis, but gets popped, and Tyr will die to the Minotaur. He has to Aegis in his own well to keep himself alive, but the Phoenix minions are streaming in, and this may be the Minotaur.
That's really just the summary of this game right now. When you have to Aegis in your own well because you're getting your butt whooped so hard, something has gone terribly wrong. Zeus ultimate coming down, everyone bailing out of it immediately before he can land a second tick. Zeus so very low on HP, but honestly doesn't seem like he cares. Pops his detonate. I guess Poseidon died or something. Kills Hebo as they pile in there, and now it is all up to Agni. And the Meteor is enough to actually finish off Zeus. So they do have Zeus and Tyr down right now. I mean, those are the two, the monsters. Those are the apocalyptic forces that Vegeta's bringing to the table right now. So with them down, I mean, this is the biggest window of opportunity Bulma's going to have to do anything. But Sobek is just right outside their gate. Ulting now, just trying to make sure this minion wave is unable to do anything to stop the fire minions.
Here goes a flame wave from the Agni. Pathfinder's going to come out soon. They want to pick up the Sobek, but that is a daunting task to boot. Sobek is just kind of hanging out. You see the damage that Sobek is doing is still a lot. Sobek not picking up any offensive items at all. Look at the flaming minions on the Apollo. Blinks forward after the charge prey. Odin is here, but so is the Bastet. Trapped inside is the Sobek. Is it going to be enough to take him out is the question. Sobek does not have an ultimate. Bastet joins into the Ring of Honor. There's the damage up of the Agni. Agni's not able to do it. He dashes back to help out with the Odin. Odin's going to lunge, but again, Sobek's still very tanky. Dashes away, hand to the gods. Odin caught out. Here is the damage output from the Bastet and the Neath, and there is the kill. Odin loses life. Apollo's going to try and dunk this. He's not going to get there in time. He's going to land right next to Tyr, who throws him into a wall and smacks his face. The Serenade on the Bastet. Neath lands the Spirit Arrow, but not going to be able to get him in time. It looks like actually just barely missing. There's the damage from the Bastet as well as the Tyr, and the Neath is going to finish off the Apollo. Water Spout comes out. Tyr jumps over the wall. He wants some more action. There's the one. Gets stunned out immediately. Poseidon ultimate in response, but again, look how much magic protection he has. The burst of everything is not going to be able to finish him off. He drops quite low. Neath finishes off the Hebo inside of his base. Agni is in the base here trying to defend this up. The Phoenix will fall yet again. They are completely ignoring the left and right Phoenix and just controlling the map and killing everyone.
Yeah, this right now. I mean, I don't advocate losing hope, but I really don't know how Bulma can come back from this. I mean, the goal difference is 17,000. It's 44-11. I mean, at this point, Vegeta, it almost seems like that, like you said, they're just interested in trying to get the fanciest kills they can get here. I'm fairly certain if they would just clump up and push in, and it looks like they're going to do that now as they gather up and together grab the Fire Giant. Once they have this Fire Giant, they can absolutely clump in, run in, and just smash this Minotaur into pieces. I mean, they don't even need to go for left to right Phoenix right now. The 5 of them can push in and just end this as Agni gets caught by just the murder squad that's trucking through the jungle right now and blown up immediately. They just need to push in right now, force down the Minotaur while Agni's down and Hebo's just barely respawning, and they'll easily take this.
So we're going to tank the right side. Phoenix Tier in the middle lane, still looking for kills. As Phoenix is doing lots of damage here. There is the dunk from the Tier ultimate going after that. Tier's going to go in towards the well. Creeping Curse dashes through the well. Tier is just in no care mode. I was taking too much damage from the Minotaur. Of course, the Minotaur does have stacking damage. The more times he hits you, the more damage he does. And even something like Tier can't withstand that. And mainly for the fact that he just doesn't have any physical protection. He's built all magical for the enemy team. Zeus ultimate. Here's a good split. The detonate to come out pretty soon. There's the kill on the Hebo. The detonate could come out on the Odin. The detonate will come out. Looks like Sobek will lose his life. Odin will lose his life. A 2-for-2 exchange with the Tier. Now going for the Minotaur. They just need to get the Minotaur and finish it off. Bastet's going to go for it. This is going to be the assassination. That's going to be game. Vegeta takes a 2-0 victory against Bulma in the Code Green NA Grand Finals in fantastic fashion.
Absolutely. Odin actually tying to his Zeus detonate in the middle of jumping back into his well, right at the peak of his jump. Zeus just nopes and crushes his fist, and Odin's life is extinguished. But, I mean, really, what can we look at here for what went wrong? Looking at the damage board, Zeus doing 33,000, Tier doing 26,000, Agni doing 30,000. So, I mean, really, Agni laying down more damage than Tier did. Agni laying down a lot of hurt. But a lot of it was spread in AoE, and it wasn't like kills they were able to actually finish up. Like you said, I mean, Tier built into so much magic protection right out the gate. Just built Bulwark Shield. Just said, nope, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not going to die. Sobek went into the Bulwark right after Sovereignty and Boots. So, I mean, just tankiness. Just crazy tankiness. Neith and Bastet, realistically, didn't have any magical protection whatsoever. So, I mean, they could probably have been focused down a little easier, but it's kind of hard to divert your attention to focus down the backflipping Neith and the jumping Bastet when there is a manly pillar of justice actively juggling you through the air like it's frickin' Marvel. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to switch your focus and to squish your targets, and Vegeta knew that, and they really just took advantage and built all the magical protection on Sobek and Tier and just threw them in and said, have fun.
That was such an incredible match. We saw the effectiveness of understanding the laning phase, but also itemization. I think one of the main reasons why Tier did so well is the item choices he made along the way. He went into the right lane with a first Mark of the Vanguard to defend himself in the solo lane, had the Hand of the Gods and the Creeping Curse. When he realized he was up against the Hebo jungle as well as the Poseidon solo laner, so he had two magical damage dealers trying to gank him. The first item he bought before he bought boots was going to be that runic shield. And in fact, it saved his life at least 2 or 3 times during the laning phase when that passive activated. He got that 30 magical protection for 5 seconds and kept himself alive with a 60 magical protection to a total of 90 magical protection with a little bit of HP 5 to counteract the harassment of Poseidon and Hebo, and then a little bit of physical power to do a little bit more damage. But overall, his itemization was just flawless. He went straight into Warrior Tabi and then right into Jotun's Wrath, and then he decided, hey, I'm still dealing with a Hebo, Agni, and Poseidon as the main damage sources on the enemy team. With a 0 and 11 Apollo, he was not concerned about that, and of course Odin was building mainly tank and of course was behind himself, so he decided to sell off his Mark of the Vanguard and buy a Bulwark of Hope as his 4th item, a beautiful item transition. So now he has 450 health, he has 150 magical protection with the passive active, and then when he gets low, he has a shield that reduces the damage he takes by half for 1 second, which of course, Agni, Hebo, and Poseidon are all burst characters, so he's reducing the burst that they have, like a Poseidon ultimate, like Agni Meteors, like a Hebo ultimate, down to half, which is amazing, and then follows that up, of course, with the Bloodforge, but at that point, it was just all said and done. So I think this really exemplifies the importance of itemization in a game like Smite, but all MOBAs in general, and the effectiveness that they can have on the overall game. But I think with 47, 13, and 73, with an 11, 0, and 18 Neith, I mean, what else can we really say but the fact that Vegeta just conquered this entire match?
And they really did. They took off in the early game, even from those early level 1 fights, killing Hebo immediately. Right when the game started. Find the jungler, kill the jungler. I mean, if there's one person who is really, really hurt by being behind or being set back early in the game, it is the jungler. Absolutely the best target. And as they were able to take him down before the match had even started, that was a big help right out the gate. It shut him down, it kept him behind, it made him start from behind, and Hebo was trying to play catch-up the whole game. Every time Hebo showed up for a gank, I mean, he tried to gank Tier several times. He was successful a couple, but with all that magic protection Tier had, every time Hebo showed up, Tier just didn't care, which, like we talked about before, if you're wasting your time in ganks that aren't successful, you're losing a lot of potential golden experience. So, I mean, that shut him down. Apollo just, I mean, it just didn't go well against the Neith Sobek combo. Neith Sobek is tried and true justice death. Sobek picks you up and throws you, and Neith roots you. And granted, Apollo can use the moves to get out of that, but he's still out of position from the Sobek throw, and he can at best charge back to where he was when he was thrown and still get rooted by Neith. It's just a difficult fight, a difficult thing to stand up against. And although Odin was a good pick and synergizes really well late game with the Agi and Poseidon, even the Hebo in some cases, if he can get in there and just line them all up for an ultimate inside the ring, early game, the Odin-Apollo lane combo is just not that good. So like you said, I mean, bringing back the power of the laning phase here, Odin Apollo just getting stomped out by a vastly superior comp in lane.
Yeah, I mean, really what it came down to, and it just didn't have enough. I mean, Odin never really played a support tank up until, today, and for good reason, as you mentioned, Squid. It's the fact that he just doesn't have enough peeling to keep Apollo safe. I mean, like you said, I mean, they can't really beat it to death any more than that. And they also had a very unorthodox solo last game, and it just came to the fact that Vegeta just was on their, they were on their game. This, of course, is the Tiermonster Code Green tournament, so it's a single-man sign-up tournament. So, I mean, these players may or may not have even met before. And sometimes we get that, that X factor, Squid likes to call it chemical X, from Powerpuff Girls, to the point where it seems like the 5 people that get, match made and randomly generated onto the same team, you get one of every role where everyone's just comfortable playing their main role. They don't get 2 junglers on one team, or just people that work very well together, or there's a lot of friendliness, or people just hit it off, and that's just what happens in this tournament. We've seen it time and time again. It seemed to be Vegeta this time around. So if Vegeta, always in the shadow of Goku throughout the entirety of Dragon Ball, now finally gets the big W he was looking for. Each person on Team Vegeta will be receiving 800 gems per person, so 4,000 gems total given to Team Vegeta. Team Bulma will receive 2,000 gems per total, which is going to be 400 gems per person. And of course, the third place will be receiving 200 gems per person, which is a total of 1,000 gems for the entire team. But that is it for this tournament, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I know we had a lot of delays. One of our semifinal rounds went way too long, longer than we expected. And with 24 teams signing up today, it was a bit of a disjoint with the buys that we had to go through. But we appreciate your patience. We appreciate everyone who stuck through and watched the live stream all together. We did give away a God Pack today to help out and show our good faith in the people that are watching us and being great fans. And of course, if you're stopping in today and you don't know what Tiermonster is, but you're a Smite fan, head over to tiermonster.com. Make sure you sign up. All you need is an email and an in-game name for Smite, and we'll start tracking your stats, showing your KDR, your wins, losses with individual gods, all the stats you want, as well as badges for pentakills, quadrakills, all kinds of achievements that you want, and then lots of guides and god stats and charts and all the kind of stuff you'd want from a competitive game like Smite, all played out for you and portrayed in a very, very easy to understand fashion. So make sure you head over there and sign up, and we'll see you guys next week for the EU Code Green tournament, which is going to be a lot of fun. This one was definitely a lot of fun, and definitely sign up and subscribe to the Tiermonster YouTube channel, youtube.com/tiermonster.com. I'll throw that up in chat for you, so go ahead and subscribe to that, as we'll be posting top 5 plays and all kinds of matches here. All these have been recorded and will be posted up there for your viewing pleasure. So thank you for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you next week at the exact same time. Have a wonderful evening.